What's up, everybody? Today I'll be explaining the different methods for boosting the performance of your iOS device. These methods aren't placed in really any particular order, so yeah, I hope you enjoy it and thanks for
First thing I'm going to go over is closing out your apps. Having a lot of apps open at the same time can really slow your iPad down, and it's going to help you lose a lot of battery life. So just make sure you don't keep your apps open all the time. It's okay to have, if you're using 2 to 3 apps at the same time, it doesn't matter if you have them running in the background. What I'm basically just saying is, if you shut your iPad off and you just leave 6 or 7 apps running, this can actually slow down your iPad. You'll open it back up and you'll be like, why is it going so slow? You've got a lot of apps open. Just make sure you close out the apps. This is really something for conserving battery life. To conserve battery life, and this does speed up the performance of your iPad, just make sure you close out, the apps that you're not using. If you have settings open and maybe you're playing a game or something, close out the settings, just things like that. Next thing I want to talk about is brightness. Brightness is actually very important. Brightness, it's not really something that's going to mess up your speed. This is going to mess up your battery life, and your iPad's going to, nobody wants their iPad and just keep dying. But you don't want to have your screen brightness just blasting. You want to have it at a medium or moderate level. I have mine right here. Having your brightness all the way off, that's not really going to conserve much. It's not a big difference from here or here. After you get past this point, it's pretty much the same. You just don't want to have it blasting up here. This is of course you don't want big heavy 3D, motion screensavers in the background. That's really going to slow down your iPad. That used to slow down my old tablet all the time, and it's going to slow down your iOS device as well. So just make sure that you keep you have a good, moderate background. Even high quality backgrounds, they can slow your iPad down. It's not going to slow it down as much as a heavy 3D motion background. But apps, you have a lot of apps that you're not using. I've got Sketches here and I've got Shazam. I have both of these on my phone, so I tend not to use these a lot. These are apps that you want to delete, so you can just delete these apps, and it can depend on space, but it can also depend on the app. I'll show you an example. So I'm going to go to my, what I'm doing is I'm going to General, I'm going to Usage, and I'm going to Manage Storage. If you see here, it's going to give you a list of all your iPad apps, or all your iOS apps, and how much space they take. Now clearly, if you have a high, space, if it's taking up a lot of space, that's going to slow down your iPad. But you also want to keep in mind for other apps. Okay, so I've got Twitch here. Twitch. Okay, so I have Twitch here, and Twitch only takes up 12 megabytes. Okay, that's not a lot. But what you have to understand is, this is a live, this thing streams live feed. So this can actually slow down your iPad. It doesn't take up a lot of space, but it can still slow down your iPad. So just keep in mind, just because it's not a heavy size app, doesn't mean it can't, take up space. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Spotlight search. This is something a lot of people don't actually think about, but this is very important. When you have your iOS device running, what you're not gonna notice is that this is Spotlight search. You type something in, it will find anything for you. It will find music, it will find games, it will find words, it will find anything that's in your iPad. It's just a quick way to search. Now, most people don't tend to use that. They've been using their iPad or iOS device enough to the point where they'll just flip the screen and get what they use. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't use this. There are some people that do, but I'm just saying for the people that don't. What you're gonna do here is you're gonna go to Spotlight Search. And what you're probably gonna see is you're gonna see all this checked off. When all of these are checked off, what's basically happening is, even when you're not using the Spotlight Search, this thing is still, searching for whatever you may need when you pull up the Spotlight Search. So it's still gonna look for whatever you need, even when you don't have the Spotlight Search open. So just a quick, simple way to speed up the performance of your iPad and save battery is just to uncheck what you're not really gonna look for. Okay, you can have music. Sometimes people need to look up contacts and music. I don't really use Spotlight Search. I never really use it. Mail, audiobooks, music, contacts, those are stuff. You just don't want to have it all checked off, because it's constantly running. It's constantly looking for something that you may need. It just has it there, just sitting there, ready. So whenever you type it in, it's like, boom, there it is. Which is pretty cool, but it does take a lot of space. So this thing we're going to go to is Wi-Fi. So, Wi-Fi is very important. Your Wi-Fi is going to take up battery. It's going to take up battery, and it's going to slow your iPad down. Just good maintenance is just, if you're, I don't usually power off my iPad at night because I need the alarm in the morning. So I'll just sleep my iPad. And so what you can do if you're not using your iPad, you can just shut your Wi-Fi off. Just shut the Wi-Fi off. You don't have to have it on. And this is going to save a ton of battery life. And this is overall going to make your iOS device a better, smoother running device. I shut off my Wi-Fi when I'm on road trips and stuff like that, because it's constantly picking up Wi-Fi and looking for Wi-Fi. You'll see sometimes you don't even have your device. You're on a Wi-Fi, but it's still looking for networks. This is just constantly using up space and RAM and battery and just all that. So just shutting your Wi-Fi off, that's another good. And the last thing I want to talk about is, which I don't recommend, but this can really help, and it will make your iOS device the fastest device you ever have. And that is, of course, jailbreaking your device. Jailbreaking your device is legal now. The thing is, if you do jailbreak your device, and let's say you happen to drop your device. If you drop your device or you damage your device, water damage, anything, you damage your device, they're not going to fix it for you. It's jailbroken. You taking your iOS device out of jail. It is out of the system. It is uncontrollable. It is yours. It is free, and you have all the power. And this. That's the only downside. The good side to this is you can delete apps that you don't use. Okay, if you don't use notes, you don't use reminders, you don't use tips, podcasts, photo booth. If you don't use your maps, you don't use your newsstand, any of those apps, you can clear those apps out. These apps do take up a lot of space. If you'll notice, okay, I'll give you an example, and I'm gonna make this really quick. Because I know I'm boring. But if you look in my device, you'll see if you do the math, this is gonna come out to about 26 gigabytes available. If you take the U's and add it up to the 8, it's going to be about 26, 27, 28 gigabytes available. This is a 32 gigabyte iPad. And you're wondering why is only 28 available? It's because these apps that you have in here, they're taking up space and they're running up battery and they're slowing your iPad down. You can delete those apps. You can change your Wi-Fi DNS and things like that, and it can speed up your Wi-Fi performance. You can get apps for free, which I wouldn't recommend doing because I think you can go to jail for that, or you can get fined or sued. Different things like that. These will speed up your iPad. And jailbroken devices are the fastest iOS devices. Rooted Android tablets and Android devices are the fastest devices ever. you're not gonna have a standard iPad and then a jailbroken iPad, and the jailbroken iPad is slower than the iOS device. People do sometimes say the jailbreak does slow down your iPad. No, that's Cydia. Cydia does slow down your iPad a lot, but if you use the tips I've shown you, it won't be much of a big deal. So that's pretty much all I have. There's a few other tips, just random tips. Get rid of, okay, you got music. You can get rid of the music you don't need, because music this is more for battery and space and RAM. You can get rid of these things. You can get rid of your books, clear out your mail, photos, videos, clearly, duh. You have to get rid of those. YouTube, definitely keep your YouTube closed because it's taking up tons of Wi-Fi. You don't have to have, VPN and stuff like that. You don't want to always use that. That can take up space and Wi-Fi. That can take up RAM and can slow down your iPad. A lot of VPNs. I used to have a lot of VPNs just to keep myself covered sometimes when I'm out, and I don't want people looking through my device. You can get rid of those. Just random stuff like this. Video kick. This. You don't always have to have that. Just those are things you can do to also speed up the performance of your iOS device. And so, yeah.